Hi everyone, thanks so much for joining us today. My name is Lan. I'm a senior manager here at the AASB and I'm joined with my director Helena. This is the second session in our webcast series on ITC 56. We're very excited to take you through the AASB's consultation paper. It's all about reviewing how AASB 1060 is working and whether it needs any updates. In ITC 56, Section 2, there are 3 topics. We're here today to start on topic 1, which is the potential amendments to AASB 1060 based on the changes to IFRS for SMEs. In a follow-up webcast, we'll then go through the proposed amendments to AASB 1060 in light of the new requirements introduced in AASB 18. Then, in a final webcast, we'll go through the new standard, IFRS 19, disclosures for subsidiaries without public accountability. So, Helena, can you talk us through the first topic?
Thanks, Lan. Let's talk about why we need to consider the updates to IFRS for SMEs. So when AASB 1060 was developed, the IFRS for SMEs disclosure requirements were used as a base for domestic standard. But the IFRS for SMEs are updated only every 6 to 10 years. So the AASB decided to review AASB 1060 whenever IFRS for SMEs are updated. In February 2025, the IASB issued the 3rd edition of IFRS for SMEs, which include quite a lot of new disclosure requirements. These requirements were added because the IASB concluded that they would provide useful information to users of SMEs financial statements. And that is why we need to consider whether this information is equally useful to Australian users and whether we should add the same disclosure requirements to our domestic standard. We have summarized all the changes in our ITC 56, and we would like to hear feedback on these proposals.
Okay, so how does the AASB plan to address these changes?
Well, to start with, we reviewed all amendments to IFRS for SMEs, and we tried to apply the same principles that we used when we developed AASB 1060. We identify all amendments that relate to recognition and measurement requirements. And because AASB 1060 is a disclosure standard, we did not consider them relevant for inclusion. We also excluded amendments that related to recognition and measurement options in IFRS for SMEs that are not permitted under Australian accounting standards. Then we were left with amendments which are disclosure requirements and guidance. We propose to include all amended disclosure requirements in AASB 1060. But with the guidance, it is slightly more complicated. When AASB 1060 was developed, we included all requirements from standards that address only presentation and disclosure requirements. To apply the same principle, we are proposing to include all the guidance that originates from those standards. On the other hand, guidance that originates from other standards was considered on a case-by-case basis, so there's a bit of judgment involved. But the ITC document includes explanation for each proposal and judgment made by staff.
So, what are the new changes?
The key changes are highlighted here, but basically the IASB tried to align the IFRS for SMEs closer to the full IFRSs. For example, there is a whole new section on fair value measurement, which is based on IFRS 13. There are lots of amendments to Section 19, business combinations, so the disclosures follow closely the requirements in IFRS 3. And the requirements in Section 23 on revenue are now based on IFRS 15 5-step model. All the details are included in ITC 56, and there is also a comparison to the AASB 1060 disclosure requirements.
Okay, can you walk us through some of those examples?
So one example is paragraph 1143 in IFRS for SMEs. It requires entities to disclose an analysis of the age of trade receivables and other financial assets. So the recognition and measurement principles in IFRS for SMEs for receivables and financial assets are the same as in full standards. So we are proposing to add this requirement to AASB 1060. Take a look at the ITC document for all the amendments that we propose to add to the standard. Another example is an amendment to IFRS for SMEs requiring an entity to prepare financial statements using the accrual basis of accounting. When we considered this amendment, we concluded that it relates to recognition and measurement. So we do not propose to include it in AASB 1060. Again, the ITC document summarizes all the amendments that we are not proposing to add to the standard.
Thanks, Helena. Those examples are really helpful. Thank you everyone for tuning in. Please take a look at the ITC. On the slide here are the questions that we want your feedback on. Our ITC is open for comment until the 22nd of January 2026. And we'd also love to see you at one of our roundtable events. The links to our ITC and events are available here on these QR codes. Thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to hearing from you.